First thing, in the neighborhood where she lives, ritzy. I bet I'm probably the only Mexican in this neighborhood without a truck and a lawnmower. Kind of feel like Columbus.
Hello again, I'm Joan Rivers. The show, I think you know by now, is called In Bed With Joan. So let's get right to it. Let's see who's coming out of my closet today. Hello?
Now that's a closet.
That's a closet. Paul Rodriguez. All right. Okay.
What a bed.
I'm so happy to have you here today. You tunneled in. It's just, how many of those jokes do you get? How many jokes do you write like that?
Well, I use the Carlos Mencia method. I basically just watch all the other comics and see what I remember from them. You know? Yes. In a lot of ways, I'm a protagonist of a lot of stuff. But I guess I kind of admire you in the sense that to me it's still fun. You know, there's not like being on stage. We were talking off camera. You know, a lot of people just see that part. They don't see the 3 o'clock in the morning, the flight, the kid with the you know you've been in business for a long time. They still go, is that you? That's you, right? And they follow them, and you know you're trying to figure out something to talk about an hour to the Catskills. You know, so yeah, so you're Mexican, huh? Yeah. And we get over there, and then the preparation. Usually you have to talk to the local media, and then all that to get people to come see you. But when things are going great, there's nothing like it. You know, there's no drug in the world like when you think of something and bam, you deliver it, and it gets a response. I think that's something that we don't share with nobody. Only a stand-up knows that. You know.
You were picked number 74 of the all-time great comedians list, right?
Yeah.
Were you upset you were 74?
I was surprised. I was surprised I was on the list because there were so many that I thought merited further up. You know, it's a weird thing to judge. You know, I'm glad to be on there. I don't know how you can judge. You know, I look at comics pretty much, especially those of us who do a lot of ethnic stuff. It's basically like a restaurant. You know, it's hard. I like Chinese food. I like Mexican food, and I don't know. Depends on what time. You know, I like. But I do it in Spanish. You know,
Do you do the same act in Spanish that you do in English?
No.
What changes, and how do you decide what I'll say in the English act, what I'll say in the Spanish act?
Well, in Mexico and all over Latin America, they're in the dark ages. They're in vaudeville. You know what they consider funny, and it is funny. You know, the pie in the face, the funny walk, those things. But politics, no, you can't talk about that. Really, it might be opening up a little bit now with the social medias and stuff like that. But no religion, absolutely.
What about sexual stuff? Is that also as repressed there?
Well, obviously not. There's so many Mexicans. You know, we don't repress that at all. But you know what the Spanish people like? They like for you to make them think dirty, but not to say the word.
Were you one of the first Latin comics? Was anyone in our side of the fence?
There were others. There were others. You got to give credit to Freddie Prinze, the late great Freddie Prinze. You know,
But he didn't. Well, I guess, did he use it? Did he come out and say I'm Latino and blah, blah, blah?
Well, yeah, the Puerto Rican, you know, he was the...
So he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, he come out... they're like Latinos, except they're citizens. That's the only difference from Mexicans. See, Mexicans are different from Cubans. Cubans have the dry foot law, and then Puerto Ricans are naturals. You know, they're already, what do you call it, the state. It's not quite a state, but it's a territory, I guess, of America. Mexicans, the ones who come here, we have to live like Anne Frank the rest of our lives, you know. What's that noise? You know, we got to be on our toes. It makes us quicker, but those are the main groups and the main differences. I was the first, I would say, Mexican American that started to get attention. When I went up there, I got a lot of the hate from Mexican Americans. Well, you're making fun of us, you know. I said, I'm making fun with you. I'm one of the, you know, I'm talking about me. Oh, they didn't like that, you know. Now it's popular.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And you went out.
Yeah, we did
the Latin Kings.
The Latin Kings, George and Carlos and Gabe. Those are the big guys now, you know. And I knew that, you know, I heard footsteps. I knew they were coming, and I'm you know, it's inevitable.
How did you start, and was it difficult?
It was. Nothing's ever easy, but I started basically. Well, you know, it's in your nature. You can't teach a stand-up.
But where were you? Where were you living? And did
in
you start
Compton.
with Mexican jokes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in Compton. Now explain what Compton is.
Compton is a
Compton
beautiful bedroom community.
It is not a. It's a gated community, but the people that live outside of Compton have gated it in.
Exactly.
Is that the way-
Exactly. Well,
It's a rough community.
it is. My father was a migrant farm worker. He broke his back and a tractor ran over him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a tractor ran over him, and I said, Dad, didn't you hear it coming? He goes, I'm in the tomatoes. So they made you ketchup, you know. So he didn't get no settlement. He didn't know nothing about a lawyer or anything like that. So he was looking for a cheap house to live in. And I'd never seen an African-American in my life, right? I mean, Mexicans, some of those get really dark, but not African-Americans. So my father looks at the paper, he goes, it's a blessing from the Virgin. There's a house for $60, and it's got 4 bedrooms. Oh, let's hurry up before somebody takes it, in Compton, right? We drive over there. Sure enough, there's a house, and the landlord didn't even meet us. He called him up. He goes, no. If you want to move in, move in. You know, pay me what you think you pay me. Right? We moved in there, and 3 weeks later, the riots exploded in 1963. So that was my introduction to it was burn, baby, burn. And well, you know, I learned a lot how to talk fast, how to talk yourself out of problems and stuff. So I guess I was being prepared for what I've done, you know.
And at what age did you actually go into the comedy clubs? How young were you?
Well, I was old. I was in my 30s already. I got drafted.
Really?
Yeah, I got drafted. I was at the last of the draft, the only lottery I ever won. And you know, I got out, and I was going to school on the GI Bill, and I was going to Long Beach State. And I met this teacher that I would make laugh a lot, you know, mainly so she would help me pass the thing, you know. And her husband was an accountant to the Comedy Store. So they took me to Westwood, and I went up there, and it was an epiphany that when I got up on stage, the routine that I did got a big laugh, and it's like I found what I was born to do. This is what I'm going to do. I never went back to school or anything like that. Years later, she called me. She goes, I want you to meet this other funny guy. I hope you could help him out. It was Gabriel Iglesias.
How wonderful is that?
I got to admit, at first I brushed him off. Just a guy. I said, Louis Anderson's got that covered, pal.
Yeah,
but he turned out to be you know, I'm glad I wasn't that much of an a-hole to him. You know, I took him around, I got him some spots, and the guy's huge now, you know.
Do you remember your first jokes that you did?
I do. It was, there had been a shooting, the Los Angeles Police Department, nothing's new. Her name was Eula Love, and she was a large African-American woman who was shot by 2 LAPD who had said that she attacked them with a butter knife, right? In order to,
I remember this.
This is very dangerous, right? So the joke was this police brutality? Was this possibly? They shot it like 38 times. The joke was, I don't know, but they had to reload, you know. You know, I don't know if it's brutality or not, but I said, you know, imagine, they should shoot them for being bad shots. You know, the woman was large and 2 big cops. Hold on, I'm gonna get you this time. You know? So, and the people, they laughed, you know, and got me out of the ghetto, and I'm here. I'm here in your bed.
Did you do mostly Mexican jokes, or did that come later?
No, I started with that, and you know, once you make your bed, laying, I'm perfectly comfortable. I do Mexican. That's all I know. You know, I look at my whole world through my Mexican life, my ethnic. I think everything's fair as long as the audience is laughing. If you're making the audience laugh, I don't care what you're doing. Our job is to get up on stage and make them laugh. Now, if what you're saying is not working, then try something else. So far, it's working.
Is your wife Mexican?
I'm not married at all.
You have 2 children.
That's why. No, I have 2 kids. One of them's a Cuban, but we have a son named Lucas. And then I have another girl who's a Salvadorian. I don't know why not Mexican. It's always kind of like close to Mexican, but you know, like Mexican friendly, I guess.
Right.
And my mom was real funny. She after I lost the second house to them, my mom walked into the house I'm in now, and she goes, "I wonder what bitch is gonna have this one." I go, "No, ma, I think I'll just date, you know." So
now your son, my grandson Cooper, was so excited, not so much to meet you, but because of your son, P-Rod.
Yes.
And he is a big star of the X Games.
Yeah, he's a skateboarder, you know. And I told him, I said, "You're not gonna be a skateboarder. You're gonna go to college and do something." And then he wanted to see my degree, and I couldn't show him one. So, you know, he told me, he said, "I remember Grandpa didn't want you to be no stand-up, so you don't want me to be no skateboarder. Why can't you believe that I'm gonna be successful?" said, all right. I said, I just remember when all your dreams are gone and you run the house, don't come asking me for money. Well, he shut me up. Now I'm asking him for money. You know?
Are you worried? It's such a dangerous sport.
Living in Compton is dangerous. You know, skateboarding is scrape a knee. Nah, you know, it's natural, I think, as a parent to worry about your children, but I worry more if they didn't have any kind of ambition. If they didn't want to do something with their lives, that would worry me more than him possibly hurting himself. But, you know, he's done well. He found something in life that he loves. He's good at it, and life goes on, you know.
You did something that I always think I'm going to do and don't have the guts to do. You actually went and did your act in San Quentin.
Yes, because for me, there's a lot of Mexicans in there. I figure it's like a high school reunion, you know. hey, how are you? You know, I went in there and all the gangsters there, you know, doing comedy for when you're really a tough guy, it's not cool to laugh, but they kind of nod their head to go. So I was making all the guys from the.
So what's happened to your timing? You're doing blah 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 blah, and they go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's but you do it because. You need the audience, you know. It's like a heroin, right? It's kind of like you need it. You need the warmth, you know. No matter how tired you are on a night when everything's going right, when your jokes are hitting, when your timing is perfect, there's nothing like it in the world.
Let me talk to you about, as you said, bursting stereotypes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me quick answers. Last time you ate beans?
An hour ago.
Okay.
That's right. You don't want me in bed for too long.
Do you own a Chihuahua?
3 of them.
Okay. How many sombreros do you have?
Lots of them. Yeah.
So
you know, Mexicans invented the satellite dish. You know, people don't know that.
So, a stereotype sometimes is because the person is what they are.
Look, I've said that before. A stereotype wouldn't be funny if it wasn't based on a large proportion of the truth.
You're a very good businessman, and you also have invested. You own half of the Laugh Factory.
Not half. I own a little bit.
A piece.
Yes.
Do you go to the auditions? Do you sit and watch the other kids and say yes, no? Who picks out the starting comics to put them on stage?
We go further than that. We have comedy camp. We started when they're kids, underprivileged kids from the inner city. They do their routines. A lot of them aren't going to be stand-ups, but it gives them a lot of self-esteem to be in front of an audience. It's healthy for them. See, the thing about what we do, it's a bastard art. We have a show business. Nobody walks up to Carlos Santana and go, I can do that, or walks up to, name a singer, Barbra Streisand, and go, your voice, I can do that in the shower. But everybody and their mother thinks they're as funny as you and I. And they're out of their mind. So when they get up on stage, you know, you can tell someone who's naturally, not even the joke so much as just their charisma, their charm, something about them. You know it. You have it. You feel it. You know it. And the ones that don't have it, I think you do them a service by saying, look, you know, go into accounting or something, but you know, you're just not entertaining. And right away they go, you're their worst enemy. Later on they'll find out you did them a favor. Yeah. You don't have to spend the rest of your life going for something that you just don't see it. You know.
Now, we do a little point in this show when we ask our guests, is there someone that you heard somewhere along the line that you would like to look into our camera and just apologize?
I like to say this to all the Kardashians. I'm sorry I didn't accept your offers. But I couldn't be your husband. There was already a tape there, and it must be hard to be one of the Kardashians' husbands, because when you're not doing it right, they go, let's go to the tape. And who can compete with that? That looked like a baby's arm holding a plum. It was...
Go the other way.
Okay.
We have another section in our show, because it's a small show, we're proud of our sections, where you can tell anyone you want to who hurt you, ha ha, look where I am now.
I had an HBO special, and on Monday, I was supposed to do the Tonight Show, and on Friday, I was doing the Joan Rivers show, and I got a call from Freddie DeCordova telling me that Johnny wouldn't like for me to do that, and I needed the publicity, so I said, yeah, okay, I'm not going to do that. Well, I couldn't say no to Joan, because Mark Sanchez, your makeup guy, was my best friend. He goes, you can't do that to Joan. He was my roommate. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to go. Are you crazy? I need it. I went over there on the KTTV Fox. I did your show. And I never got to do the Tonight Show again, but I got to do your show and host it several times.
That makes me very, that's lovely. And it sure didn't hurt you, thank God.
The pool's in, the patio's dry, I got wet backs working everything.
Melissa, come and join us. So.
This way, yes. I do have connections at the dry cleaner.
We play a game,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to give you two choices.
Okay.
And one of these things stays, one gone forever.
Okay.
But we need your reasoning behind why.
Why it's gone forever?
Or why you want something to stay.
Okay.
Okay? First up, monster truck or lowrider?
Oh, lowrider.
Stays?
Stays. Monster truck is just a waste of energy. A lot of rednecks running over cars. What's that? You know, it's like NASCAR. Who cares about that? You know, we have something more exciting in the bar. Is high-speed police pursuit. You don't know when it's going to end, and it's also sponsored by Budweiser. You know,
Penelope Cruz or Salma Hayek?
got to go with Selma. Penelope, I would break her hip. I'm too much of a man.
Stand your ground or electric fence?
Well, I think it'll be underground. No, it'd have to be, you know, the reason electric fence, I would say. You know why?
Stays or goes?
No, it stays. We need the electric fence. If the Mexican border was electrified, we'd be supplying electricity to all of Mexico because they'd hook up.
Taco Bell or Del Taco?
Got to go with Taco Bell. They're always exploiting food. Chipotle, always coming up with different things. Gordita, and you know, it's not Mexican food, but I was in South Africa. It's close enough when you have nothing else. You know, gordita's not even a food. Gordita's like one of your relatives that put on a low weight. You know, she's a gordita. We do it. It's a nice way to call your fat relatives nice. You know.
You are so delightful. We've never really talked. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We pass, and I think you're hilariously funny, and we say hello at things. But what a joy to have you sit in the
I've
back.
always admired you. I think no question about it. You're the funniest lady, period, working.
Well, who else is around? But
Bar them all. I'm not just saying that. I've gotten to know a lot of. I mean, what I love about you is your conviction to your art. You know, you make no excuses. You look at the house you live in. You don't need it, but you do it because in a way you do need it. You need it for your.
I'm just going to let him talk on and on and on.
You-
Meanwhile, I want to say thank you. Wonderful to have you, my darling. We do the
Look at the jewelry.
Yes, yes. And notice it. $10 store. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Rodriguez. And would you do the clapper to clap us off?
I was just in bed with Joan. Man, she packs a wallop. In between shots, muy bueno. I hope I was delightful and satisfied. I wanted so much to break a hip, but I was gentle.
I had such a good time with Paul, but I had to cut the interview a little short because he had to clean my pool. Let me know who you'd like to see in bed with me. You can do it by sending me a message on Facebook or Twitter.